guys, welcome back to Skin Society. In episode 3, we're talking about doing the do. And by doing the do, I mean doing your due diligence. It's our jobs as estheticians not only to educate our clients, but to follow the protocols that's given to us by these big companies where we do our products and we're doing the protocol the way that they instruct us to. So ladies, let's jump into it.
Let's get into it.
Girl, move over.
Oh, hey. You can sit with us.
Do your due diligence. That is the saying for today.
Yes. So we'll be talking about protocols.
Absolutely.
And the importance of following protocols and the reason why they have protocols in place,
yeah,
right?
And especially if you're a new esthetician. So, like, by protocols, we don't just mean protocols with chemical pills. Anytime you're bringing in a brand of something that you're not familiar with or something that you have no experience working with or even something that you haven't even tried on yourself, we understand that you're an esthetician and you feel like you know, especially if you're familiar with a client, but until you know the product, like you know your skin, you have to do your due diligence. You have to study the product. You have to try it on yourself. Me, I don't put anything on my client's skin that I haven't tried on myself.
Agreed. No, yeah, I haven't.
Yeah, I
30
always,
days.
yeah, I always try it on me first, whether it's a treatment or even a product. But just doing the due diligence of like researching the product, and just because it's trending online, you just jump right. People gravitate to it and just want to just start doing anything. But the reality is, you have to know the product. You have to know the side effects from it, and you have to just know what it meshes well with. All products don't play well in the sandbox. I think that's where so many people go wrong.
Exactly.
And there is a reason for the protocol, right? Like these companies do clinical trials, and it's not like, oh, we invented this, let's put it out on the market. Like, no, there's science behind it, and we talked about that in the first episode. So making sure that you follow the protocols until you feel comfortable enough to step out of that a little bit is very important. Ingredient wise, like you should know your back bar, whatever you have in your back bar, unless you know your ingredients 100% and you know them like the back of your hand, you should not be adding anything else to your back bar.
Yeah, right.
Like you should know this does this does that.
Exactly. I think that a lot of people just try to cheat the system.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I just want to buy this from this company, but I'm going to use everything else from this company. And it's like, y'all don't understand, like, these people who make these products for us to use, they take years and they invested so much money to give us a full lineup to use from part A to point B. Yeah. Why would you go and mix, let's throw out there Bio Repill with Clean and Clear or Neutrogena, face wash? It doesn't make sense. Yeah. If you're going to invest into someone's brand or to someone's product to give to your clients,
or even invest into yourself. Yes, you're really an investment to yourself.
Go full throttle. Like, say, like, okay, if you can't afford it, then sometimes you got to sit out the big leagues and go back to the minor leagues and get something that you can afford.
There's nothing wrong with starting from the bottom.
Listen, I started from the bottom when we here. I used to buy chemical pills that, would set me back $120, and now I'm in the big leagues where I'm buying chemical pills that cost me back $500, $700, $1,500. But I invest in my clients, and that's why my clients get the results that we give it. And I can all say, for all collectively, we all have this thing where we all about investing into our clients, and this is why our clients come to us, because they know when they come, they're not going to see Biore or whatever Noxzema on our damn. They're not going to see Noxzema sitting on our damn tray. Like, oh my God, like this brings back nostalgia. If somebody has Noxzema on their tray, you need to run.
Like, or anything close to it. Yeah,
anything you can buy at like Sephora,
Target. Only thing that I got in here that you can get from Sephora is that Touchland
and the Laneige.
Hand sanitizer. That's it. And
that's just different though.
Yeah, I'm just saying, but that's just because people want it, and I use it on my lips and I use it on my hands. So if I can get it and provide it for my clients here instead of sending them to Sephora, that's what I'm gonna do. Right. But I think what you were gonna say?
No, I was just gonna piggyback off of you with the Bio Repill, especially. A lot of people say that they're not getting the results that they are marketing or claiming, and not just Bio Repill, right? But like other companies. Yeah. And you guys have to understand that the protocols are made for a reason. The protocols, the results that they're yielding are following the protocols.
To the T.
Yes. If you stream away from the protocols, you're just not going to get the results that they are advertising. So it is important to get the whole package, not just one piece of it.
Yeah. And then the crazy part is y'all get on these platforms and y'all bash these companies. Yeah. And it makes people like us who actually use it and see results like we're lying or we're out just selling a gimmick. Yeah. And it's like, no, we're not selling a gimmick. But when we sit down with these people and we go through their webinars and we take their online classes, we're buying into what they're selling us. We're seeing like, okay, I need to have the cleanser, I need to have the toner, I need to have the aftercare. And this is what we're giving our clients to take home and use so they can get the full expect the results from the product.
Exactly. And I think, and I just want to I don't share this because I hate to call myself a sales rep, but I actually am an educator and sales rep for Bio Repill and also ProCell. And I will say that so many people that get the pill through me, the first thing they want to do is just buy the box of the pill. You cannot just get the pill. And at one point, Bioskin Aesthetics was letting us just let people buy the pill because they thought maybe they wanted to sample it on themselves and their staff. But then there's those same people who are bashing in the Facebook groups, oh, my client's peeling, my client's shedding. But the reality is you have to get the back bar and the retail, but mainly the back bar. Like the BioRehydra and the BioRelift are they are like essential to doing your treatment. You can't just go in to somewhere, buy something that you've never had before, never tried, or most of you probably have never even used a TCA 30, let alone a 35. They just changed it to 30, but in the beginning it was a 35% TCA.
I have never used a TCA,
exactly.
period.
And then you expect to put it on somebody's skin and then use something that you have sitting in your back bar for 3-4 months and you think it's going to yield the same result. People come up with protocols and their delivery system works a certain way. You have to use what they are telling you to use. And I see, thank God I haven't had anybody who purchases the pill through me and get their education through me. I've never had anybody complain about that. But what we see in these Facebook groups is crazy. And then you got to understand, for you estheticians out there that are bashing some of these pills and bashing some of these products because you guys aren't getting the full package, you have to think about what that does to other estheticians. We all have clients who love, we're just talking about Bio Repill just because it's the most trending right now, but the reality is we all have clients who we do Bio Repill on and we all love it and our clients love it. But imagine them seeing your post talking about how it's bullcrap and it doesn't work, but really it's because you haven't made the full investment into yourself or into the company. So now my client is coming to me like, oh, well, I seen a post that this doesn't work, or somebody made a reel that this doesn't work. It's like, no, it's just, and I hate to bash other estheticians because like I said in the beginning, we're not mean girls at all. But the reality is, if you're not doing your due diligence, you're not only affecting you and your company, you're affecting us and ours, because what you put out into the world, once you put it out there, it's out there. My clients see it, y'all clients see it, and the reality is, it's not fair to us or any other esthetician in the industry because you haven't done your due diligence. So before you get online and turn into Meek Mills and get Twitter famous, before you get online bashing any companies or any products or anything, do your due diligence and make sure that you're doing it to the best of your ability, because most of you don't. And I hate to say it, it's a lot of fairly new estheticians, and I'm one of the estheticians, and I know I'm going on a rant because I'm getting hot, but cool down. It's like you gotta remain a student to the game. You got to. Go ahead. You gotta remain a student to the game. So sometimes you get your license and you go right in and then you think you know everything, but you have to continuously educate yourself. Remain a student to the game. That is the other key to that. Matter of fact, I want y'all to put that here. Remain a student to the game.
But here's the thing also, a lot of people don't know, when you invest in these companies, they give you free webinars. I can't express enough how GlideMed has transformed my business so much. Because they have these free webinars, they have these free classes that you can take, and it's costing you nothing. If you can't invest in something for free, I know you ain't spending on the stuff that costs you way more to learn. Like, you have to invest in these protocols. You have to invest in these webinars because they're dropping real information that will take your client's skin from being one way to being the next way. And if you don't do that, then what do you expect is going to happen?
Exactly. And I do want to kind of sidebar from, since this is for estheticians, right? If you're in aesthetic school, even though we're talking about protocols and the importance of protocols, I feel like in school you shouldn't focus on the protocols, right? Because they're teaching you the protocols with their products,
which is usually bullcrap,
right? So when you're in school, what you want to focus is on the steps of the protocol. So the cleanse, right? Like, if, for example, we went to all Aveda schools, right? So we learned that, if it was oily skin, we were using like a foaming cleanser. And a lot of people focus on remembering, okay, I got to use this product, and that product. And like, what you really need to focus on is why you're using what you're using. So if you're having a client with oily skin, you need to understand, I'm using a foaming cleanser because a foaming cleanser is best for oily skin. If I'm using a cream cleanser because they have dry skin. Like, that's the way you need to think about it. Now, once you leave school and you're ordering stuff from these companies and stuff, yes, you do want to follow protocols because now you are using these things in your back bar.
Right. For example, if we came out with a protocol, we came out with like protocol book for how we get our results. Say y'all all love our results, right? And we decided to work together collectively and come up with some protocols. You're not going to buy our book and then take what you want out of the protocol and add your own twist to it and then be mad when you don't get the same result. It's the same thing. If you were training somebody to do, say you are great at whatever you're doing, whatever service it is, and then you have a mentee and you're training her, and then you see her doing your protocol but with her own twist to it, and then she ruined one of your clients' skin because you let her practice on her. You get what I'm saying?
It's crazy.
I don't want you to confuse what I'm saying. It's okay to learn and customize, but before you start customizing, you have to master it first. Because we mix stuff. Like I've mixed some things with Bio Repill. We're pro selling with Bio Repill. I sometimes add in the hydrofacial. We dermaplane, but you can't go so far away from what they're telling you to do, the base of what they're telling you to do.
But then also a lot of times, Mia and Maria, people get on Instagram and they see other estheticians mixing stuff together and then they think they can just jump off the back and become chemists. What y'all don't understand is that companies change, things all the time, and sometimes they encourage us to cocktail things. However, these brands do come together and create new protocols. But if you're not even following the first protocol, how are you going to jump into the second protocol? And you're just be mixing anything together because you see people like us do it or other estheticians do it, and you have to really understand why you can't mix two of the same ingredients together because you're going to wind up ruining the client's skin.
Destroying their barrier.
And protocols do change all the time, right? That's why it's important to stay on top of whatever line you're using, stay on top of the new things, right? Glymed does a great job at educating you, not only educating you, but keeping you up to date with new protocols. I don't know about you guys, but I sign up for all of the webinars, whether I can make it or not, because they record the webinar and then they'll email it to you. So you can always watch it later on. And like you said earlier, like if you're not willing to invest your time in free
material
knowledge, then you shouldn't even spend your money on like, for example, the 3-day course that they have for $1,000. Right? Some people think, let me spend $1,000, I'm gonna get the 3 days, and you are gonna get the 3 days, but literally everything that you're gonna learn in those 3 days is on their education site for free.
And it's like you're not even gonna know what they're talking about because you ain't did your due diligence and started with the free work. And speaking of like protocols and then customizing, Glymed is one of the rare I think Circadia too, but I'm gonna talk about Glymed because I know them more.
We love them.
Glymed, Glymed is one of the companies that you can off the bat start cocktailing because but if long as you do your due diligence and know their products, that's one thing I do love about know your ingredients. One thing I love about Glymed is like all of their stuff is cocktailable. You can mix anything and they promote it that way, and I think that's what maybe got people feeling like, oh, I can just make this myself. But study some of their cocktails. And
I think it's a little scary, right? Like when you're a new esthetician and you start like learning ingredients, it could be a little overwhelming because you're like, oh my god, but like that is key. Once you learn your acids, once you learn your pigment inhibitors and all of those things, it doesn't matter what company you're gonna use. You're gonna know
what mixes what
you know the ingredients.
But you know what's funny? A lot of times people hear the word acid. Like if I say hyaluronic acid,
it's acid.
It's like acid, and I'm like, in our lingo, a lot of things are called acids, and they don't really be like burning acids. But you have to understand the terminology as well of the products that you're doing. You got to understand lactic, glycolic, mandelic, beta roots, all those things. You have to understand our lingo before you just start mixing, pulling things off the shelf. Oh, that's a lightener, that's a lightener, that's a lightener. Let me just mix these all together and see what I can come up with.
Right. And the chemistry comes in because of molecular structure, right? Like all of these acids, the difference is some have bigger molecular structures than others. Some penetrate deeper, some don't.
Exactly.
So like understanding that part.
And don't think this is a jab at y'all, but the reality is it's okay to go back to your index.
Basics.
Yeah, go back to the index and study like, okay, wait, what's this acid? I promise you, any esthetician book that you have in the back, there's an index.
Exactly.
It'll break down everything. I actually created an index. I'm gonna share it with y'all on camera.
Really?
I was going because that's how I learned. Like I can't just read it. I have to write it. So I'm like, I might as well type it up and put it all together and just go back into look through an index. Like it's practice. It's practice. It's okay to like re-educate yourself. It's okay to brush up. You know what I'm saying? Like brush up on your skills. Sometimes I forget stuff and I'm like, dang, let me go back and I'll go back and read or I'll look it up online. But it's okay to remain a student to the game. There's nothing corny about educating yourself.
At all. I even like sometimes it comes down to histology, right? Like you have to know skin.
All of it. All
5 layers, what it does in each layer. Like if you don't know that, then you really need to go back to the basics. And sometimes I'll be on my phone and I'll literally Google like histology exam. And granted, it's a nursing one, but I like to stay up on it. Like, you know, what
really doing the exam?
I really be like testing myself because it's so crucial, you know?
It is.
You have to know, you know, melanin is created in the epidermis.
Hello.
Yeah.
So if you're treating melanin or somebody with hyperpigmentation
or melasma
microneedling, and this was something we always talked about when we first started microneedling. You know, we see this estheticians going really deep, and sometimes you don't need to go that deep. Does it look cool?
Yeah, it does look cool, but
you don't need to.
But here's my rule of thumb with microneedling, and I tell people all the time, I don't need to see a vampire face.
No, I think that vampire facial thing made it.
Yeah, like pinpoint. I don't need to. Sometimes I don't even see no bleeding because I know the depth that I should go. My only job is to create that wound.
Yep.
And let the wound do its job to heal itself over. Yep. I don't need to have you bloody all over the place. Now, get it. Some clients, if they're on caffeine or tea before they come in, before their treatment, which I discourage, they may bleed and they may have like more of a, you know, little bloody experience, but I try not to do that at all. But
and that's me because that makes your blood thinner. Yeah. And it's part of the protocol. And those are things that you should know.
Yeah.
Not only alcohol, tea, any type of like blood thinners. So like Tylenol, aspirin.
Well, if they're on blood thinners, you shouldn't touch them.
Exactly.
Because you don't want the blood to not clot. Like you want the blood to promote the wound healing.
Right.
And if they're on blood thinners, that's a major no-no.
Yeah.
So
and I also think people say vampire facial.
Yeah,
but
the
vampire facial,
they actually, I'm about to say, that's the difference. I'm about to say, y'all are microneedling and trying to create what looks like a vampire facial by having your clients bloody Mary, but the reality is with a vampire facial is they draw the blood, spin it, and
get the PRP.
Get the PRP, the plasma. Yeah.
And that's what they're infusing. That's the blood.
The plasma back inside the skin.
So it's not the same. So just do your due diligence and study. And like, it's not like we saw one person say, oh, you know, we're going to make a podcast episode about this.
It's a lot
We're
of
just
people.
seeing a lot, especially in these. I'm new to Facebook, y'all. I'm an Instagram girly.
I don't get on Facebook because Facebook is messy.
But
they are messy.
It was brought to my attention that you girls be like to tussle in them Facebook groups. And I felt like we needed to say something about it because it's just like, if you do your due diligence, if you just take a step back. And then another thing, everybody try something once and then they be like, oh, this it's like, since when did that work? Since when did
get that skincare the same amount of chance you gave that man?
Okay.
That's what all I'm gonna say. Get that skincare the same amount of chance, like, because it does not work overnight. You need at least a good, what is it, cell cycle, 28 to 45 days, depending on how old you are. You need a whole cell cycle for you to see actually improvements in your skin. And then if you're doing corrective skin, you don't see corrective changes literally from point A to point B. It's almost a year.
Magical microwavable overnight
almost
treatment.
A year.
A year. All those before and after pictures you see on my page, y'all gotta understand, them clients been coming to me for like a year of consistent.
Yeah, that's why I don't post them
before and afters. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No.
I don't post before and afters no more because people will, can I get this? I'm like, you gotta understand, this girl's been coming to me for 2 years straight.
And she do her home care
twice a month, doing her home care, doing these advanced treatments, not doing advanced treatments, like,
and setbacks.
It's setbacks. So you gotta,
life be lifing.
Life be lifing.
And then y'all come and y'all, this is what I want to look like, and I'm like, all right, are you ready? We see you for 3 months, and then I don't ever see you ever again because you feel like you're not getting.
And then you start esthetician hopping because she didn't give you a treatment overnight.
You know what's my favorite? When they show you a picture of like lashes, and they're like, "Oh, I want my skin to look like this," and it's like, yeah, you know that for marketing purposes, they blur out the imperfections, right?
Oh, no, not that one girl. Remember she was doing the lashes, and that girl had that.
She.
And I was like, I just want to.
Get it out of there.
But for marketing purposes, it's somewhat because they do that on purpose, right? If I'm taking a picture of my lashes, and you got a big old comedone on your forehead, an esthetician like us is gonna focus on that and not the lashes,
right? Yeah.
So they do that on purpose. They blur out and they edit and they even fix people's brows and stuff because
they make it look pretty because
they want to sell perfect.
Exactly.
They selling perfect. They selling perfection, and that's not what we're selling. We're selling healthy skin. We're selling transformation. We're selling the idea of that
in the lifestyle of just
taking care of yourself.
It's a lifestyle.
It's not there's no okay. I'm gonna do this real quick and I'm be good. You know how many of my clients come in and they start doing good and then life be life, and so I don't judge. I just made a post on Instagram the other day like, if you saying to see my client, I ain't seen you for months, I miss you. Because I get it. Life be life, but you can't expect to get results overnight. The only thing that I can say is close to overnight comparing to being on Accutane for 6 months or whatever, is the face reality treatments.
Yeah.
If you come in and I have my acne clients come in bi-weekly.
Yeah.
Every 2 weeks, and I'll tell them like, hey, you do this for 3-4 months, you're gonna notice a big improvement in your skin.
That was bi-weekly treatments. Her acne treatments was bi-weekly.
Yeah, that's the only way I do it.
And bi-weekly treatments, and she was consistent. Like, she did not give up on her skin, even when life started lifing for her. I was like, I touched her skin, it felt like literally
don't it feel
butter.
good?
So proud.
Like,
we did that.
It's so smooth. It feels like just so perfection.
Yes. That's
and
what
since you mentioned Accutane, let's talk about dermatologists and estheticians, right?
Oh, God.
Because we literally just had
They
this
hate us.
conversation.
Yeah.
They do
They hate us.
But here's why, right? When you go to a dermatologist, they're just looking at your skin, they're prescribing you something. The reason why we come into play, the reason why we're important is because we're providing that education. And that's how you need to sell it to your client. It's easy for you to walk into a dermatology office, they look at you for all of 5 minutes and go, oh, here's Accutane, here's spirulactin, here's clindamycin, you know, and then they walk out the door. A lot of people don't get results from dermatologists. Why? Because they don't even know how to use it.
And then their barrier gets destroyed, and then you come to us, and then we fix it. So keep coming to us.
Education. We are in the business of educating.
Yeah.
If we educate our client, then when those times happen, right, when life is lifing, they can still maintain at home. And that's the point.
Yep. I actually have a client who was seeing a dermatologist, and the dermatologist wanted her to get on Accutane. She didn't want to do it. She came here, I treated her skin, and she went back to him for like something else. It was like a rash or something like that. And he was like, oh, your skin was just, she was like, I saw the esthetician. And then he kind of like brushed it off. She was trying to like, my esthetician, and he kind of like just brushed her off.
And also do your research, because there's so many, like, while Accutane could be like a fix, right? There's so many negative side effects
and that's what
to Accutane, like that's where we come in. Like, you have to tell your client.
When people come to me and say, I think I want my derm is like trying to put me on Accutane, I'm like, please don't do it. Please don't do it. And I'm not going to discuss the side effects here, because I think like it's too,
for another episode.
It's too much, and I don't want to get emotional about it. But I just feel like Accutane should not be a resort at all. Like, they need to, like,
I don't even know why it's
off the
approved
market
from the FDA. It's horrible.
Because we live in America. Like, we can do whatever we want here. They
Big Pharma.
Yeah, Big Pharma.
They want you coming back.
The money is
biggest
in,
drug dealers.
the money is
Okay.
keeping you sick, not in curing you. The money's not in the cure. Like, they don't. They want to keep you sick, whether it's with your skin or your health. They're like, that's what they try to do. But Accutane, like, if you're an esthetician and they're like, my Accutane, don't ever advise your client to get on Accutane. Like, literally, do your research as the esthetician and, like, kind of, like, explain to them why you are against it. And then you will see what I'm talking about. I don't want to talk about Accutane no more because I'm getting so emotional. But wrap Accutane up, because I have seen what it's done to some of my clients, and let's
do your research. That's bottom line.
Yeah.
Do your research. Whatever you're offering, whether it's, you know, new protocols, new treatments, whatever it is, like, if your client comes in, if they tell you, oh, I'm on X, Y, and Z from their dermatologist, even if you don't know, just research it.
But I'm okay with some of the stuff from the dermatologist, but I teach them how to use it properly, because I think that when you go to derm, they're like, oh, use the tretinoin, and then they're using it every day, more than 3 times a day, and I'm like, that's not how you're supposed to use it. Like, I don't care what they tell you to do, but you're getting monthly facials or bi-weekly facials. That's too much of over processing the skin.
And then the dermatologists don't even touch your skin. They look at you. They don't even know what it feels like. They don't know what's underneath. They're not feeling for anything.
And they're not asking you lifestyle questions.
Right? Not at all.
What's your diet? Do you get enough sleep? You know, are you in a high stress level job? Like, all of those things were reflective on your skin, and they don't ask that.
But you know, that's why I don't do virtual consultations.
Really?
Oh, because you want to feel the skin.
I want to feel the skin, because people come to me like, oh, my skin is dry, and I be like,
but you can look at it and tell that it's not dry.
Here's what I do. It's oily, and I'm like, no, your skin is not oily. Like,
I offer the virtual, and I do, but I always tell them, like, although we're doing this virtual consultation, I'm creating a regimen for you, but I still want you to come in. So what I do is, whatever I charge for the virtual consultation, because my first time facial is kind of long, but because we do a consultation, I kind of tell them, like, listen, like, you did the virtual consultation, whatever my virtual consultation is will take off of your initial facial. You know, it'll go towards that, but you have to come in and get a facial. Like, it has to mesh together.
So for me, sometimes, like, I have a few virtual clients that they in a different state, so I don't see them often. Or, like, I'll get somebody who comes here once and then they go to college.
Okay.
So for me with my virtual, I feel like the thing is they have to be in really good lighting, and then like I'll make them like, let me see, touch your face. So after you wash your face, so like say they wash their face and then we do the virtual consultation. I don't want them to put anything on their face. I want to see their skin in its true form without product. So I'm like, you know how you can look at a pore and just tell.
Yeah.
So like I'm making them. I'm like, okay, so turns it like go in the best lighting. You can, if you have a ring light, get on the ring light, and that's how I can tell without feeling their skin. And then I ask them to feel their skin. Describe to me what you feel. If you rub in the moisturizer on your face right now, if you washing your face right now, what do you feel? Does it feel smooth? Is it bumpy under the surface? So that's how I'm able to treat virtual clients. But it's not easy because it's still a guessing game because they don't know what they're looking for.
Yeah,
so as much as you can educate them to the best of your ability to tell them, like, tell me what you feel. What does it feel like? Most of the clients don't even know. They're like, oh, my skin is oily. No, your skin is actually dry.
And it's lacking moisture.
Yeah, so and that's why you think you have oily skin. So it's all about like back to what we were saying is do your due diligence. You have to be, in order for you to be a good esthetician or a hell of an esthetician, you have to educate yourself so you can educate your clients. Yes. All of my clients come in here and be like, wow, I ain't never had nobody break all of this down to me before. And I'm like, well, I'm just saying the basics.
Yeah. I didn't even get into it.
Yeah, and it's because they're going to places like Hand and Stone or they're going to estheticians who like
Ulta.
Ulta, or something like that.
No shade to the SCs at Ulta, but they're stuck to whatever their protocol is.
Yeah, and there's no shade to SCs who don't specialize in corrective skincare, but the least you can do. Well, actually, I had a client come in, right, and she told me about an esthetician that does medical grade stuff, and she said from the time you walk in, and she lays you on a table, she barely says 2 words to you. She says she putting stuff on the face, it's tingling, burning, you don't feel it, and she don't tell you what it is, and says you get up and you go check out. And you got a $300-something tab, and you don't know what the hell you just did. Yeah, it's like, and that's why she came to me. She found me on TikTok and came to me. And I don't know the esthetician personally, but we follow each other on Instagram. Mm-hmm. And it was like, damn, that's crazy. Like, I would have never thought the way she looks online. Yeah. So do your due diligence, educate yourself, educate your clients, because people they want to know what's going on. Like, we live in a do-it-yourself society. We just was talking about how, like, they're offering all this stuff. Clients can buy stuff online and be their own esthetician at home. So you have to figure out what will separate you from any other esthetician. You have to educate yourself, or they're going to start looking on TikTok and they're going to become their own esthetician, or they're going to end up on one of our tables.
Yeah. But you know what else? Also, with most people, they have to realize that it's the reason why we went to school. Yeah. And sometimes because you see an esthetician and she's been in the game 15 years, she may be in the game 15, 20 years and still is using Clean and Clear in her thing. Some estheticians invest, some estheticians don't. Some people think it's just a money gimmick. Like, oh, we're just out here just selling transformations for high ticketed value. And it's like, no, us three, we really care about skin. Like, this is all we talk about. We just sit here, camera on, camera off. We will sit here for like literally 4 hours and just talk about skin. Because that's what our passion is. And some people have become estheticians and they just do it for the money. Right. But if you're going to do it for the money, stick to like waxing or lashes. Don't try to jump in and try to fix people's skin, because you're gonna wind up jacking somebody up, and it's not going to be pretty because you didn't do your due diligence.
And I've had it. Like, I've had clients who have come to me and then they'll go to someone else and then they'll come back. Yep. Like, and we'll literally be like, I remember you was booked,
or I couldn't.
Well, not even that. Just like I know for me, one of my clients, like someone had bought her like a gift card somewhere else, and she went, and then she came back and she had pigmentation, and she was like maybe like a fits 3, 4, and she had pigmentation around her mouth, and so she was like, I went to an esthetician, whatever she put on my face, it was burning, and I'm like, she didn't ask you when's the last time you exfoliated, because that's another thing, right? Like, you might sound like a broken record, but it's so crucial. Like, whenever my client comes in, those are questions I'm constantly asking. Are you possibly pregnant or breastfeeding? Even though they might not be, but you have to make sure, right? Right. When's the last time you exfoliated? If they don't know what that means, when's the last time you used tretinool and retinol, any actives? You have to go down the line, because those are all important things before treating the skin. Your client might have forgot. Yeah. Oh shit, my appointment's tomorrow. Right. And I used my retinol last night. Yeah. We need to know that before we touch their skin. Yeah. So those are all questions that we need to constantly be asking to have the best results.
Yeah. But the same thing with skin. Like, I had a client one time, and her guy got her a gift certificate to like the Four Seasons or something, and she had milia on her face, and it was right here on the top of her lip. And I have left this thing alone for so many months, and she went and the girl tried to pop it, and now she has this big black mark on the top of her lip, and I was like, I was like, well, why didn't you say anything? She's like, well, I didn't know what to say. Like, I didn't know what to tell her. I didn't know what to do. It's like, I get that you try to be like, oh, let me take it out and let me prove that I can take it out and her other assistants can take it out. But it was a reason why I didn't take it out.
Yeah.
It wasn't ready. It was a reason why I didn't remove it.
Yeah.
Sometimes don't try to outshine somebody else by proving that you're the better candidate or you're the better esthetician. Because one thing I have learned, even when I worked in dental, my boss used to always tell me, just be yourself, be good at what you do the job, and if they leave today and go somewhere else, I bet you they'll come back.
And then
they always come back. He always say they always will come back. And you know how many times they come back, and I'm like, oh, you're coming back to me now, huh?
Look at what we got here.
Look at what we got here.
How the tables turn. But that's integrity too, right? Like we all have that. Like we won't do a treatment on someone who doesn't need it. You know, who's not ready for it, etc. Because we're not after the money. Does this pay our bills? Absolutely. So obviously the money matters, but it's not what drives us into being in this industry.
I think we said that in the beginning, like we all know what it feels like to not be happy with our skin, and that's what drives all of our passion, and that's what we all have in common. So I think that moral of the story is, do your due diligence, have some integrity, and don't go bashing online when you know you haven't done your ask yourself, like, did I do everything in my power to make sure that I know exactly what I need out of this product or how it works?
Did I use my resources?
Did I use my resources? Did I ask a friend who's using the product? Did they do their there's a few steps that you should take before you go online in these groups and you bash people and you bash something that people have been working very, very hard on, something that's positive and is doing great, and everybody else clinic but yours. You know what I'm saying? You gotta you gotta just make sure
that comes down to do your research. Right? Because I've also been in esthetician groups where they'll kind of like bash the big companies, right? Like GlideMed. Yeah. People bash GlideMed. I have no idea why.
GlideMed was a private label company. I was like, what?
And so if you go on these ST groups and you're feeding into that info, even SkinScript, like people were saying, oh, it was one post that was like, name the skincare lines that are overrated. And like people were mentioning SkinScript and GlideMed and Circada and like basically the big name companies. And it's like, I know for us, like we've been with GlideMed since before they came popping, right?
I've been using since I was an esthetician school. And that's the only thing my clients use. So if you out here bashing SkinScript, I got some before and after. Before and after to show that shit.
You're not using it right.
You're not using it exactly. You're not using it right. Your clients are not using it right, and this is why they're not getting the results that they're looking for. Because I'm following to the T. Do this 3 times a week. Do this twice a week. If you're following the protocol the way that it's supposed to be followed, your clients
won't have the issues.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I agree.
I think that's
this is crazy. Like,
she's like, this is crazy. Like, oh my God.
It is though. It's that important. It's that important. So, like Mia said, the point of this episode is just do your due diligence, research, educate yourself, educate your clients. Everything will kind of come. We will always be learning.
Yes.
Technology
you will learn with us. We actually just learned some stuff. We can't wait to tell y'all about it. It's about sunscreen. It's about sunscreen, but it's a few episodes later we're gonna do it.
Had me gagging. Like,
and the
really clutches pearls.
Yes, and the point of this podcast too is to be authentic, right? And so we're human, right? We all learning.
Players fuck up too.
Exactly.
That's my favorite line.
Exactly. So we'll be talking about that too, like the truth behind what we learn. And you know what? This podcast is also gonna drive us into learning more because we have to do the research to give to you guys, and in that we'll be learning along the way.
I think people don't realize that when we come up with a topic for our podcast, we literally spend a week of researching before we put the content out there. So we're just not just 3 people just sitting up here talking shit,
right?
Like we're really like
it might seem like it's just so cool,
but we really are doing the research behind each topic and making sure that we have our ducks in a row before we put this information out to the world, because we're on so many platforms now and we don't want to come or be misconstrued in our words and what we say to people. So we want to give y'all what we believe to be facts. Like, I'm not a lawyer, don't quote me, but we want to give y'all the facts of what we find out. And then sometimes we may be wrong, sometimes we may be right, but if we're wrong, we'll go back and correct it. But if we're right, we're going to keep pushing the message that you can sit with us, and education about skincare is one of those things that you cannot stop doing. That's why we're Skin Society. Because we're society.
And that's why we always encourage you guys to comment and give us feedback, because we want, if there's something that you can object to something that we said, we would love to hear about it, because we want to know. We might be wrong. We're just learning in this journey like you.
Yeah.
That's why we don't have a bunch of cuts and edits in our videos. We run this thing straight through, because we're literally having a real conversation.
Yeah.
We're not trying to be perfect. We're human, and we're trying to share our experience and educate you all at the same time, and also give y'all a piece of our mind, not in a bad way, but in a you can sit with us way.
Yeah.
So with that being said, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Bing! I see somebody said it on YouTube. Hit the notification bell so you guys get our videos, and join the community. Jump in them comments. We would love to hear about it. Look at our YouTube. Be involved. We love that. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode, and we guys will see you on the next episode.
We love you guys. Bye.
Bye.